I'm gonna upload this later just in case, you know what I'm saying, if we do have issues later down the line or whatever. But anyways, all right. So let's jump into Muse, bro. So we're gonna see. I'm trying to see if this is the first version that we did. Yeah, I think so. This is the one in January 4th of 21, 22, 23. So yeah, I can kind of see the trajectory of this record when we started it. Yeah, because we started it at the beginning of the year. I want to say we started this record like at the end of 2020, but I'm not sure. I know. It might have been the first. I mean, yeah, it might have been like the first. In January, I think so. But let me see. Let me see if Pro Tools isn't dripping out either. You feel me? But man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in though, for sure, bro. All right, cool. Let's see. Hopefully, Pro Tools isn't acting too crazy. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, Pro Tools. There we go. Yep. All right, cool. I had to reset the audio too because they usually do that every time we got to switch sample rates and anything. So make sure y'all let me know if y'all can hear the audio loud and clear. And are we still having issues with the video? Is everybody still able to see me or not? All right, cool. Let's see here. Playback engine. Yeah, we good. All right, for sure. Everything good on my end. All right, for sure. And also too, all good. All right, for sure, for sure. Appreciate it, bro. So yeah, and like I told y'all, everything that this whole stream, I'm recording it too. So I'm gonna upload it later on YouTube, and then I'm cut it up in pieces and post it up on IG and all that other good stuff. You know what I'm saying. So, but anyways, so this is the first version that we recorded that we tracked, right? So let me play this version real quick. I think this version might have been the one where we switched the key up a little bit. Let's see. Yep, it is.
We lost so many to violence. Where we come from, that's just how it is. We had to dip, I had to fly in. My bitch, my mule, she a cold thing. She from the city, so she know things I know. Don't let me get back to my own ways. I wanna get inside. I can't wait to kiss it. If absence make the heart go find her, I go missing. I can't wait to miss it. Oh, old flex coming back, see me doing my thing. Used to have fun with that and set her on the way. Your past can sense me on you now. They can tell you change.
Yeah, so this is like the very first version that we did. This one we dropped the key and everything. And this was done at the studio in Canada. It's a burn session.
Back in school, niggas singing shit that ain't true. Really rap, but he bang blue.
Man, you're about to even hear this little part that it obviously didn't make the final version.
When I was stressed out, I'm smoking no doobies. Now I'm itching to shoot, finna make me a movie. Since niggas is in one, the government looting, we from the bootleg. Well, you could get chastised if you look at me woolly. We hungry and hurting. That's why I'm moving up. You got snuck cause you stunned on burger. Stuck in a a psycho, you pussy, you
Yeah,
can't
this
get
part,
over
bro,
it.
this part is super hard. And this part was gonna sit, but I mean, towards the end, that's when she was like, nah, we're gonna go with something else, you know what I'm saying? Which is the version that we have now. But this is like the OG version. This is like the one that, that started everything, right? This is how we started the record. And then I'm gonna give you a little breakdown of how we first started with everything. So the first thing we did, it was just these whirlies right here. I'm gonna solo that. And that chord progression, I got it through ripcord. And then the whirly, I think I used that. What was the whirly that I used? It was the whirly from what was it? From Arturia. Because during that time I was using that like heavy. So we started, that's basically. I mean, shit, that's basically the whole record right there. This whole thing.
So many to violence. Well, we
And really, that's when she started writing to it, right? Right when these whirlies, when we did the whirlies, right? And then we added a little bit more things here and there. Let me see this little bit. Okay, yeah. And that's just like a layer of the same chords playing over it, you know what I'm saying? And that's like, that sound right there is the stock sound of not Trillion or Keyscape. One of them is the stock sound. It just worked. I liked how it sounded, so it stayed. And then from there, we did.
I can't wait to get.
This is the first version of the drums that I did for this for Muse. Yeah, you already know that's the stock Keyscape sound, bro. So this is the first drum pattern that I produced that for this, and then I'm gonna play the version that we did after this one. So this is the OG. This is how everything started. This is how like the creation of it. You know what I'm saying? This is when we first started Muse. And then now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up. I'm gonna basically just kind of go how go in the same pattern that we worked on it. So that was the first original version. That's how everything started. Then after that, let me see here. Yeah. So this one later on, because in 21, that's when I moved to LA. I moved to LA here in May. So October 16, the UMPG. So this is the Universal Studios. Not like the Universal Studios with the Rise, you know what I'm saying? That's the Universal Music Group recording studios. I'd have been fired though. But yeah, so this is the one we did there at that studio. Let me bring this down over here. Yeah, boom. So let's see here. Yep. And this version right here is the one where we recut the vocals. So we did we recorded like the final lyrics, I believe, that she had for Muse.
We lost so many to violence.
And we worked on our arrangement too. If you can see, like we muted a lot of the drums.
We had to dip, I had to fly. My bitch, my mule, she a cold thing. She from the city, so she know things I know. Don't let me get back to my own ways. I wanna get inside. I can't wait to kiss it. If I just make it hard, go find her, I go missing.
Actually, nah, the first ending, I believe, is still here. Yeah, it's still here because of that tempo change. You see this tempo change? My bad, tempo change right here. So that ending was still there for sure. So this second version, let me see. Oh yeah, so this second version is whenever we did the final. We gonna go through it because honestly, I'm gonna remember it as we go. But this second version is whenever she had brought it to Malik and Josh, and they did they thing with the drums. You know what I'm saying? That's when they beefed the drums up, and because they kept a very similar pattern to the one that I had, they sauced it up. You know what I'm saying? They did their thing on it. But this one, that first ending, I'm pretty sure they're still in here. Let me see.
Stressed out, I'm
Yep, it still is. So I'm gonna play it from. I'm gonna start playing it from right here.
Side, I can't wait to kiss it. If absence make the heart go finder, I go missing. I can't wait to miss it. Oh, old chicks coming back, see me doing my thing. Used to have fun with that, and send her on the way. See me doing my thing, now I'm getting away. I'm getting away. You know who's been loving you? Wanna know who?
Yeah, so this is the version with the new drums, but it's still not the final though. This is the second V2. Yep, there's the one with the first ending.
Well, you could get chastised if you look at me rudely. We hungry and hurting. That's why I'm moving up. You got snuck cause you stunned on bird. Stuck in a cycle, you pussy, you can't get a word in.
Let me hear that.
Yep, and then we was doing them weird little key changes on that part because it sounded cool. Alright, so that's V2. And then let's jump into V3. Let's see here. 19. Yeah, so this one is V3. And this is when I was already at EQT. Wish you had put this at the separate track. Man, me too. I'm not even gonna lie, me too. But maybe it'll come out somewhere, in a deluxe or something. I highly doubt it though. I don't want to get your hopes up. But so yeah, this is the one that I'm opening up now is V3, and this is what we did in at EQT. I think at EQT this is when we like really wrapped up like the last, little bit of vocal takes and like clean up as far as like, the recordings for her vocals and like the lyrics that she already had. Let me see. And also too, I think that's when she invited Dom to come over and do some backgrounds and all that other stuff. So, but we'll go through it right now. Let's see. All right, cool. Yeah, this is starting to look more like the final version. So, y'all already familiar with, basically, y'all really familiar with the beginning and all that other stuff and how it sounds. Let's see here.
I wanna get inside. I can't wait to kiss it. If absence make the heart
Let me see here while the keys sound lower.
I can't wait to miss it.
I think we might have done something.
Old chicks coming back, see me doing my thing. Used to have fun with that.
Yeah, I think this one we're just kind of working on the vocals. I'm trying to see.
Wanna know who's been loving you? Wanna know who's been fucking you right? Wanna know who?
Yeah, so this is definitely the version where whenever we had all the vocals, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is closer to the final version. I'm trying to see why is it sounding so much lower though.
Wanna know who's loving you right?
Yep, this is it. So let me see.
Just in time. Remember it there. Coming back, see me doing my thing.
Alright, bet. Now let me open up this other one right here. So this one has to be what, V3 I think or something like that. This has moves. Yeah, most of the mix bus stuff is bypassed on this one. I'm trying to remember why I did that. It was probably we was probably trying to like just tweak some more stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not even on the mix. It's just kind of just trying different things. So the EQT 2 one, I think this is the final one. Yeah, because this is when I consolidated the vocals. So this is the final vocals for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Am I even running the? Let's see here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We lost so many to violence. Where we come from, that's just how it is. If I had to fly in. My bitch, my muse, she a cold thing. She from the city, so she know things I know. Don't let me get back to my own way.
Let me see. I'm gonna start adding those things on plugins in the mix bus.
Yeah, I can't wait to kiss it. If absence make the heart go find out I go missing. I can't wait to miss it. Oh, old chicks coming back, see me doing my thing. Used to have fun with that, it's in on the way. See me doing my thing, now I'm getting away. I'm getting away. Wanna know who's been loving you? Wanna know who's been fucking you right?
Yeah, so this is the final version as far as like vocal wise and lyric wise. I just don't remember why I got the beat so low.
Wanna know who's loving you right? I came in just in time. Who's gonna love you? Who's gonna love you right? Who's gonna love you? Yeah, who's gonna love you?
Let me open up that other version, that this one right here. I think this is like the one right before I sent it off to Louis so he can do his thing. Cause the rest of the stuff got done, like his parts got done at Louis' studio, and went in his session. So I have the stems for those files as well, since I did the Atmos and all that other stuff. So let me see here. This might be. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, that's not. That's not. This is the version that I printed to send off to mix, and then Louis did everything else. So let's we'll just go back to this one right here. Cool. All right, cool. So the drums that y'all hearing on the final version, those are the drums that my homie Josh and my homie Malik did, right? So, and there's a combination with that and the drums that I did on that first version, right? Because we kept as Malik and Josh, they kept a lot of that same rhythm part that Ambré and I did in the very beginning, right? So I'm gonna break those drums down a little bit more because as far as like melody wise, it's like super basic, which is probably one of my favorite parts in this song. Just like melodic wise, it's super basic because it gives Amber like all that space to do whatever she needs to do, and even for her, like her pockets were crazy on on her timing. Her pockets were crazy on the melodies, everything that she did on it. Like honestly, it worked out, and recently I did something for Amazon where they had access to kind of give them like a brief description on how we created this song or whatever. And honestly, this same day that we created Muse, we recreated Draking and Driving too. That first version that came out in 3,000 Degrees. So in that session we did Draking and Driving and we did Muse. We did a few other ones. I just don't remember if they came out in 3,000 Degrees or not. But I know for sure, Draking and Driving and Muse was created on the same day. So that to me that was like but man, honestly, those days are like them special days, man. Where you kind of like the vibe is there, everything is just working. You know what I'm saying? So we did Draking and Driving, and then we jumped on this one. We started from scratch. This was like the last this was like the last record of the session that we did, because Ambré had to do a few things that she had to deliver for, I forgot what it was for, but I know it was for something else. But anyways, so we did Drinking and Driving. We added like the bass parts, we did vocals and all that other stuff. Because Drinking and Driving, Ambré produced a lot of it in Ableton, so we did that in Ableton and then transfer everything over to to Pro Tools. Let's see, Twitch app is killing me, dude. I'll catch this if we leave it on the page. Yeah, my bad, Sebastian, and everybody else, bro, who's having issues with Twitch right now, man. That's is a killer. But for sure, I'm gonna upload this. Like I said, I'm gonna upload this on YouTube. Hopefully, because I'm recording it on my end, so I know for sure when whatever I'm gonna compare it to what Twitch recorded and to what my recording, and then I'm gonna just upload it on YouTube. That way I can catch it on YouTube, and then I'm gonna splice it up and just put pieces, bits and pieces on IG, like of the most important parts of the breakdown. But everyone that's tuning in, and I really appreciate y'all, and everyone that's still here. I appreciate y'all for for still staying on. But I do apologize for that issue, man, with the with this whole thing with Twitch. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, so let's jump back into it. So the record is super simple. We have those two melodies, right? Which is the main one with the whirly, that one. And then we have the stack, which is the layer. That's like the stock sound of Keyscape. Same chord progression and everything with the little rolls from Ripcord, right? And then let's jump into this little break part. So this little like drum break type of thing, right? That right there, with just real simple hi-hats and stuff like that. And this is with the kick and everything else. Let's see here. All right. So all this, the first layer of drums right here, these are the drums that I program. And then this right here, this layer right here is the one that Josh and Malik did. I think Josh did most of the drums, honestly. I'm not 100% sure if like Malik and then Josh they went like half. I'm not really, but they could tell you more about it. You know what I'm saying? So so the first layer of the drums of these right here. Let me play that from this break, and it just the hi hats. And now I'm gonna bring in there we go. Then we're gonna jump at the very end. So because the melody being so simple and everything, and then Ambré's pocket being right on point, honestly, the drums, the bounce on the drums is crazy. It really does add it adds a lot to this record. And it is one of them things where it's coming in and out. It's not like throughout the whole song, which it allows everything else to breathe. There's a section cut with the combination with Josh Malik's and my version of the drums. Another section right there. The 808s in this is crazy too, super low. So yeah, so that's basically it, right? That's the combination of Malik and Joshua drums with my drums with the first initial ones. A lot of it that from the OG version that we kept it with just my hi-hats and those like kick scratches or whatever. And then on the second, on the final version, which adds which adds the new drums, right? Malik's and Josh drums. That one right there is like what gave it that bounce. You know what I'm saying? So we got the drums, we already got the whirly and all that other stuff, and then we're gonna jump into the vocals. And then the vocals too is like this. Her vocal tone is definitely one of the things that is important, right? Because that's what really created really the whole record. To be honest with you, because I mean, it's a simple record, so it really just based on, it's based on Ambré. Like Ambré is the one who's really shining on this whole song. Everything else is just is one of them songs where everything else is just literally just kind of supporting her here and there or whatever. But it's not, you can like play it on just the vocals alone, and
We lost so many
you can hear this, you know what I'm
divided.
saying, and you can enjoy it
Where
just
we
as
come
much as
from, let's just hide it.
just as much as like with the
We had to
music.
dip, I had to fly in. Mm-hmm. My bitch, my mule, she a cold thing. She from the city, so she know things I know. Don't let me get back to my own way. I wanna get inside. I can't wait to kiss it. If absence make the heart go find her, I go missing. I can't wait to miss it. Old chicks coming back, see me doing my thing. Used to.
So for the vocals, what we used, it was the 49, the Neumann 49, TLM 49, and then we went into, I want to say, yeah, we went into my Neve 1073, the 500 series ones. I think that's the one I had, or it was a Burrow B1D. It's either or. But for the compressor, we used the Retro 176 for compressor, and that was really it as far as vocals. And then for vocal treatment, I'll show you guys real quick too. So I mean, the tune obviously in tune is like super light. It's nothing crazy. Um, for EQ, super basic. You know what I'm saying? We cut in at 87. Then we got a de-esser. We have the SSLJ version of the console, and it's just all basic settings too. So this is basically the settings that are here is the settings that I use for my recording template. So I didn't really have to tweak too much. Especially, and that's the thing, because I have one of my homies, right, who was using my my template the other day. He was saying how it really doesn't work everywhere, but it doesn't work everywhere because I'm not over processing or over mixing everything. Because when I'm tracking, I'm trying to make sure that I get really good recording on the way in. Because if it sounds good on the way in, bro, the mixing part is gonna be super simple. You know what I'm saying? You don't really have to do a lot of crazy processing or anything like that. If you need it, then by all means go for it. But for records like these that are so, it's like a basic but still complex, you want that to be sounding good from the from jump as soon as it come in. So, basically, like I said, we got a Pro Q3 cutting lows at 80 hertz. We got a de-esser, and then we got the SSLJ, right? And in the SSLJ, I'm boosting just a little bit, 2.5 dBs on 13K. I'm cutting at 3K, boosting a little bit. Let me put that back. Boosting a little bit around one, yeah, right around one, just to give a little bit of body. And then at 82, I'm taking down a little bit more, just to kind of get rid of that low end, that rumble. You feel me? So they dropped the recording template on your side or something. Man, the recording template, I had a version of the recording template way back in the days, bro. But now I haven't dropped a new version of the template, but I might do it. I might do it soon. I'm not sure. Because the thing is, honestly, bro, it's like I give it a template. I don't think you'll be as happy because I promise you, it's not over. It's not over complicated. It's not over processed or anything. But eventually, I think I will drop a version of a template where it's a little bit more, where it's like, there's more processing in it, so you don't have to work as much and everything. Because the thing is, the way that I record now with the template that I have, I'm mixing as I'm going. So I'm not just kind of just grabbing and dropping and going. You know what I'm saying? So I'm mixing as I'm going. I'm tailoring the sound even more now than I used to before. Because before I had a template which it was like super processed, right? I had a whole bunch of things there, doing this and doing the third. I had a whole bunch of reverbs, a whole bunch of delays, whatever. Um, and it worked for that time. You feel me? But now, because I'm mixing as I'm going, and I have a little bit of that luxury where I can actually mix as I go. I don't have to move so fast and all this other stuff. Even though I'm still able to move as fast with this template, right? But I don't have to do that as much anymore. Now I can just take my time, and this is just like a good starting point. This is kind of like one of them things where it's like if you drop something there and your recording is not as good, you're gonna be underwhelmed. You know what I'm saying? So real simple, real basic stuff as far as like the template goes. But eventually, yeah, I'll drop a version of it. I'll probably just drop both. I'll probably drop two versions, right? Like a simple one for those who want to like mix as you go, and then I'll drop one for those who like, all right, I don't really know much about mixing, or I really want to get to where I'm going a little bit faster, and I'll drop a version of that, right? Which it'll be a little bit more processed with a little bit more effects and all that other stuff. You feel me? So let's say, what was it? Why the SSL we're plugging the lines instead of wave? Just curious. So it really just all depends on the top end of this SSL J series, right? So because I like the SSL wave version, and you'll see it right here. And I'm using both actually. So I'm gonna finish. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna finish basically describing the signal flow and the plugins that I use for the vocal, right? So, we got Tune, we got the Pro Q3, cutting at 80 hertz, the Esser, taking care, of those little harsh S's and mid-range section. Then we have the SSLJ series, and this one, what's dope about this plugin is that even when you're not boosting, it still adds a high, like a top end that could be a little harsh sometimes, but I like how it sounds on Ambré's vocals, so I use this one a lot. And sometimes I don't even have to boost. I could just slap it on there, and whatever, I guess whatever console that they emulated this, whatever that specific console, it has this top end already that you don't really have to do too much boosting on the top end because of it. So all right, so we have the SSLJ version from Plugin Lines, and then the little altar boy. This one is being this one is being automated basically throughout the song. Let me see if I can find the automation on. Yep. So yeah, the end part. Let's see here.
Who's gonna love you? Who's gonna love you?
Yeah. So the 4 minutes up. So it's automated on that part, right? So we have that, and then we have Arvox. Arvox, man, probably one of the best plugins out there to this day, and it's super simple. It's literally three sliders. Three sliders. You got the one for the gate. You got the R comp, which is compressing and bringing that sound down, bringing the sound up. I'm sorry, and then you have your gain, which is like your output. I think. Yeah, it is your output right there. So yeah, so that, and then these lead vocal tracks, these are being routed into a vocal group 1, which is this one right here. And that one I have an EQ. And it's just a stock EQ from Avid. I'm doing a little bit more cutting, right? So I'm just cutting another 80 hertz. And the reason I'm cutting is because some of the times, whatever processing that I'm doing on these tracks, it'll add a little bit of that low end after. So if it does, this EQ right here would catch that, right? So I'm cutting some of that low end. I'm cutting some of that low mid. Right around there, that one. Remember the one that we was cutting on the SSL? So I'm cutting that. Nothing crazy. Real simple. And then I'm bringing back the Waves SSL, which is the E series. And this one, also too, for the SSL plugins, honestly, my favorite ones are the Waves. And then my second ones would be the actual SSL plugins. But the Waves ones, I don't know what it is. I mean, they sound good, obviously, but I don't know what it is. I think it's just one of them things where I've been using it for so long that I just still go to this one. You know what I'm saying? So it still works. And then for this one, same thing. We cut in at 83. We boost in 2.7, and if you see, and I'm boosting almost the same frequencies that I'm boosting on this first one. And I'm doing that just because of the different flavors that each plugin have, and also too, this is like more on some nerdy shit, right? If you pull up Plugin Doctor and you run the signal of these plugins, you'll see that they're slightly off from the frequencies, So this right here is 1387, right? And this one is like 13.4. They're slightly off. So it does something, right, to where they're not super accurate one in the other. So it does this thing to where it really gives me that tone of an SSL, right? Because it don't matter. You could be on an SSL, you can be on that same channel, right? But that SSL is going to react, a real one, like the actual hardware. That SSL is going to react different every day throughout the whole day because it's, the temperature affects it, whatever you run through it, all that other stuff. So that's like one of the little, I guess, weird secrets and shit that I be doing, and the reason why I do these type of things, right? Where I have this plugin in the next, going into the next plugin, just to kind of give me that those bits and pieces of like of inconsistencies, just like hardware does. So we have that, and then right after that SSL, I have the Manny Marroquin plugin, the tone shaper. I love this. I've been using this for years, bro. I've been using this, I think, for the last 10 years. You know what I'm saying? I love this plugin. I use it on vocals. I use it on low end. I use it on pretty much everything. And then after this, and all this stuff is just like boosting, really. You know what I'm saying? Plugin Doctor, man. Plugin Doctor, that's one of them plugins that you can actually, like I said, you can run plugins, and you can see what the plugin is actually doing. You know what I'm saying? So if you get a chance, just download the free demo, try it out, so you can kind of see what the plugins are doing. You know what I'm saying? And next time you use a plugin, you know why you're using it. You know what I'm saying? And that's cliche and as asshole it sounds, right? I mean, always trust your ears. Always go with what you feel like it sounds better and it feels better, right? So always go with that. But Plugin Doctor is definitely one of them plugins where you want to test your plugins out to see if they're doing exactly what you think they're doing. Because sometimes visually, the visual might trick your ear. You might be thinking like it's doing this, but it's not. So Plugin Doctor for me is one of them things where I'm like, okay, this plugin is doing what I thought it was doing already. So anyway, so Manny Marroquin tone shaper, and then after that, I go into the LA2A, the UAD one. And this is the LA2A, the gray one. This is my favorite version of them. This one sounds dope. I like how it sounds compared to the other LA2As. And you guys are already familiar with this compressor, super simple. Let's see how much I'm reducing on this.
So
not much. -1, -3 tops. So it's just catching those peaks. So yeah, it's catching those peaks. And then from that vocal group 1, I have all vocal group. So basically all of my lead vocals are going to vocal group 1. All of the background vocals, they're going to my background vocal group, right? And then both of these are going to the old vocal group. And then that one has a little bit more processing, another de-esser. And this de-esser is not really doing much. It's just catching those last little peaks that these other de-essers couldn't catch, right? So after that, because of the de-essing that I'm doing and the boosting that I'm doing, sometimes it could be a little bit too harsh, or it can just kind of take away. So then I use Spectra. This one looks like an EQ, but it's not really an EQ. This one is harmonic saturation, and it does it based on the frequency. So you can choose what frequency you want to saturate, and you can choose what harmonics you want to, what type of harmonics you want. So you could do solid, warm, tube, tape, etc. So you see for the top end how I went to tube, that one just because I wanted to soften up a little bit on that top end. You know what I'm saying? And that's what tubes do. At least for me, what I hear. It just kind of, softens things up, warm things up. It takes away the overly bright thing, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's kind of like a coloring EQ. Yeah, in a sense, you know what I'm saying? It just, the thing is, this one is not like, it's not like an EQ, right? Where you choose this, the frequency, you boost it and it comes up. Because you like a pull tick. That's an EQ that you can use it as a color in EQ, but you're only doing it. You only have like one set of I guess one set of color. This one has multiple colors, and you can choose what type of frequency. You can choose the band, and then also you have the overall mix, input and output. So Spectra is definitely one of them plugins which it still lives on my template, on my mix template. I use it a lot on vocals. I use it a lot on drums. I use it a lot on bass. Basically everything, but I tend to use it on groups as opposed to a whole mix bus. But you can use it on a mix bus if you want. You just you will have to be super careful with it because it's definitely something that can like you can easily overcook things with this plugin. And then I have the MC404, and this is just a multi-band compressor. I love how I love how MIG DSP plugins sound to me. They sound really analogish, I guess, in a way you could say. You know what I'm saying? So this this multi-band compressor compared to like the Fat Filter one, right? Which essentially they doing the same thing. The reason I'm using it is just a preference thing. I just like how it sounds, because it has these crossover points which you can control just like you could do on the Fat Filter one. You have these settings right here with the bite, where you can make the compression sound a little bit more aggressive. You have different type of releases that that emulate or mimic different type of compressors or something like that. But this one, I really, to this day, I still use it. It still lives on my vocal template. But this is definitely one of those plugins that I like a lot. The Mac DSP, the MC404, and I'm gonna play you some of the I'm gonna play out some of the vocal too, so you can kind of hear what I mean, like what it's doing.
Old chicks coming back, see me doing my thing. Used to have fun with that, it's in along the way. See me doing my thing,
Just without it.
now I'm getting away. Old chicks coming back, see me doing my thing. Used to have fun with that, it's in along the way. See me doing my thing, now I'm getting away.
So it took off.
Chicks coming back, see me doing my thing. Used to have fun with that.
You see how it's is reducing the top end again.
Doing my thing.
But you can't. It's reducing the top end, but it's doing it in a way where it's not making it dull. You know what I'm saying? It's still the vocal still still has that presence, but without the harshness. And then after that, we got the SSL comp, the analog, the Waves one, and by far from all the G comp compressors from all these plugin emulations, the SSL one is definitely my favorite one. It sounds closest to an actual SSL console. So to this day, I'm still using it. It's definitely one of the best. And then we have Soothe 2. This one you have. It's somewhat of a de-esser, but like on steroids, because you can choose the frequency that you want to de-ess. You can choose how hard or how soft you want to do it. It does a lot. Like I said, it's a de-esser on steroids. Again, it looks like an EQ, but it isn't. It's if anything, it acts like a dynamic compressor in a way. This is one of those This is one of those plugins that you can use it on low end a lot. You don't have to just use it on your vocals. This thing with the low end, bro, is the cheat code. Because honestly, if you put this on let's say on your 808 and your kick, right, and it's not working, you can sidechain your kick to this, and every time your kick hits, it'll bring down the 808, but it will do it in a way where it doesn't take away from your low end. It doesn't take away from your 808. It doesn't take away from the attack. Because whatever math they got going on this, when this plugin over here, man, it's definitely the cheat code, bro. So I would say definitely try it on your low end, on your bass, on your 808s, on your bass, on your kicks. Try it out, sidechain it, so you can get a cleaner mix. You can get more voltage. You can get more, you can get a cleaner mix with this for sure. Because it's not just for vocals. You can do this for, for your low end as well. So after that, we got the sound shifter, and this is just a
bag, see me doing my thing.
So that just, that's because we dropped the song a semitone, one semitone. That's it. And if you see, I did it on that's the sound shifter on the instrumental, sound shifter on the vocals, and of course I got to do a sound shifter on the effects. And that was it. We just dropped it, -1, and that's for the final version. This -1, and it just did something. It just did something that felt special. Cause let me play it. I'm gonna play out the record just like in the regular key that it was recorded in.
Old chicks coming back, see me doing my thing. Used to have fun with that and send her on the way. See me doing my thing, now I'm getting away. I'm getting away. Wanna know who's been loving you? Wanna know who's
Sounds
been
good.
fucking you right?
But it sounds a lot better when you drop that one semitone.
Old chicks coming back, see me doing my thing.
And that's one of them things that we do a lot. That's one of them things that we do a lot when we work with Ambré, right? And she'll probably get mad at me because that's like one of the things that she don't really like telling people. But we do that a lot. Every time we work, we'll start on one key and then sound shifter is our best friend. We'll slap it on, drop it down -1, -2, whatever, or go up and down, whatever feels the best. You know what I'm saying? And that adds like a different vibe to the record. You feel me? So if you're working on, let's say, even if you're working on a beat, right? And then you've been working on this beat for like an hour or two or something, and you feel like it's missing something, and instead of adding something, man, just slap the sound shifter on it, drop it down a semitone or two or three or whatever, how many you want, and you see how instantly it changes the whole mood. It changes the whole vibe, the whole color, the energy, everything. So that's definitely one of those little tricks that we do that we do a lot. And I mean, it's not so much of a trick or hitting something because there's so many people that do that now. You know what I'm saying? But that's definitely one of our favorite tricks that we like to use is the sound shifter. Just drop everything down or bring everything up. And, just kind of like back in the days, you know what I'm saying? How people would do it with vinyl, or even with just sampling. With Kanye, Kanye would doing the soul samples pitched up, you know what I'm saying? Just switches up the whole vibe, And then, so anyways, going back into the vocals. So we went through the lead vocals. Now let's go into the background vocals. So background vocals is not a lot going on. I mean, it is, but it isn't. You know what I'm saying? So let me play you the background soloed.
Who's loving you?
Let's go to this one.
Coming back, doing my thing on the way.
Let's go to this one right here.
Who's loving you?
Nice.
Who's gonna love you? Who's gonna love you right? Who's gonna love you? Who's gonna love you right? Who's gonna love you? Who's gonna love you right? Who's gonna love you right?
So not much going on, but I will go through the processing, and then for the processing for these, let me make sure. Yeah, so I didn't process them individually. I processed them as a group. So we got tune, and it's just a little bit of tune just to catch little hairs here and there. You know what I'm saying? Nothing crazy. This one right here, let me see what is this. It's more like an ad-lib type of thing.
Who's gonna love you?
The ad-lib. So EQ.
Yeah.
And then the doubler.
Who's gonna love you?
With the doubler.
Yeah.
With it.
Who's gonna love you right?
And then I do this doubler thing a lot whenever I'm working with backgrounds, right? Or with just any instrument that I want it to like carve some type of space in the mix, and because I don't necessarily want to like EQ a sound and take everything out of it, you know what I'm saying? So I'll tend to use the doubler a lot on that one because it allows me to find somewhat of a space in the mix without having to to cut this or add, cut all this other stuff that the vocal or whatever is it that I'm processing needs. You know what I'm saying? So I tend to play with the panning a lot on this, and then on the gain, obviously with the delay, and then yeah. So backgrounds, like I said, individually, there's not much going on besides the tune. RVox on this one just to bring the volume up. And then these backgrounds are going to the background vocal group, right? Same thing with the EQ. This EQ is essentially doing the same thing with the lead one is doing. We got the SSL EQ. See, for the SSL EQ, I'm not boosting a lot on the top end. And then for the background, same thing on the Manual Model Gain plugin. The width on this one, I definitely got a little bit more. I have that a little bit stronger than the lead, I believe. I mean, because it's backgrounds, I want them to sound a little bit wider. And then for backgrounds, I always use a 3A. So let's see how much I'm compressing for these. Let's see here. Not much. Let's see here. Yeah, so I'm not compressing much on this. It's literally just for color and just for the gain. And then, those backgrounds are going into the same old vocal group that we talked about. Another thing that I didn't talk, I talked about, but I did show this on Baby for the mix for On Baby. So I use this parallel vocal. I just call it P vocal aggressor or aggression or whatever, and it's just an 1176. Basically turned all the way up with all buttons pushed in, and you'll see how it'll react. You'll see, let me play right here. Yeah, so it's like orally compressing, right? So all that's doing is it's just giving me a little bit more voltage, without me having to add it to the actual vocals. So, you guys are already familiar with parallel processing, you know what I'm saying? So I don't really have to tell you guys much on that. But I use that a lot on vocals, I use it on drums, I use it on anything that I need more energy, but not necessarily I want to add it on the actual track. So I'm gonna exaggerate the fader, by the way, so you can kind of hear what it's doing. So if I mute it,
wanna know who's loving you right? I came in just in time.
now the vocal is sitting and cutting through the mix a little bit more, and it's sitting better, right? So that's basically the processing as far as like EQ and compression for the vocals. And then we can just jump into effects, which is not much really, because again, I didn't work on the final mix for this record, at least for the stereo mix. That was Louis Lassick who did that. I did work on the Atmos mixes, and I produced the record. So for the reverb, this reverb I've been using quite a lot for the last few months. I mean, really for the last few years now, because I used it on this record, right? So Cinematic Rooms, Liquid Sonics is definitely one of the best reverbs. I love it. It kind of reminds me of the Bricasti reverb. It has a lot of those same, like those same presets and all that other stuff. I'll show you the presets that it have that you can just kind of go through, and it sounds really good. This reverb sounds really, really good, and you can tweak it. You have EQ. You can EQ the reflections. You can EQ the reverb. You could do time base, pre-delay. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you could do. But I got this reverb because it's one of those reverbs that I can use in Dolby Atmos as well. So what it says better than the Seventh Heaven. I wouldn't say that is better. It's definitely because the Seventh Heaven have the basic version is definitely better than that one for sure. But it's up there with Seventh Heaven for sure. Because I have Seventh Heaven and I love using the plugin. But right now, this has been my favorite one, the Cinematic Rooms. I definitely like how it sounds. I think it sounds a little bit better than Seventh Heaven, but both reverbs are good, bro. So this cinematic one, just like all my reverbs, I do process them, and I have the lo-fi on here. So I drop the bit. I add a little bit of saturation. Oh yeah, so bro, if you got the pro version, I mean, you good. But demo the cinematic rooms and try them out for try them out and see how it works for you. But for me, I love it. But anyways, so I always process my reverbs. Got my reverb, lo-fi, drop the sample size, add a little bit of saturation, and then EQ. I cut some of the top end, and then Echo Boy for the delay. Same thing. This is one of those delays that I do like a lot. I like the age delay better though, for sure. The age delay just is one of them delays that just go and it just works. This one I do love Echo Boy, but this one you do have to tweak a little bit more, and it has way more options than age delay, which sometimes is not that good for me, right? Because I have ADHD, so it's like having too many options is way too much. Because I'm sitting there wondering if this is better or that or that. H delay, you slap it on and that's it. But this one, I love it because of all the options. So I use this one for the delay, and I did internal processing within the plugin. Style edit, this is have you have the 3-band EQ that you can use. You can have the diffusion, wobble, saturation, all that other fun stuff, right? So that, and then this Widener track that I have right here is just a doubler with an EQ, boosting some of that top end and that high mids, and then I have the imager, give me a little bit more width. So that Widener is basically that, right? It give me a little bit more width on the vocals. So I use it more on the backgrounds. So I'll show you real quick how it sounds with it and without it.
Who's loving you?
Without it.
Who's loving you?
With it.
Who's loving you?
Backgrounds, just get a little bit wider. Then I have this one, which is my favorite, the Studio D chorus. This is a stereo chorus. This one is basically the same thing as the Widener, just a little bit more exaggerated. And same thing, I'm gonna play the backgrounds with it and without it.
Who's loving you? Who's loving you? Who's loving you?
So without the Widener and this without the doubler and the stereo chorus. With it.
Who's loving you?
And I'll exaggerate that effect as well.
Who's loving you?
That's the Studio D. And then let me exaggerate the Widener, which is this one right here, the doubler.
Who's loving you? Who's loving you?
So the Widener is giving me that top end and that mid range is bringing that out to the sides, and then the harmonizer is bringing that basically the whole spectrum, right? Like from the lows all the way to the mids, is bringing those frequencies a little bit wider. So that gives me that width and somewhat of a depth. You know what I'm saying? When I combine the Widener and the harmonizer together. And then during this time, I was using the little radiator on my mix bus, and that's just like console saturation, nothing crazy. But I'll play you the rough mix with it and without it.
Who's loving you? Right. Who's loving you? Right. Who's loving you? Right.
Real subtle, just doing that. And I used to do this because during that time, I was using the little radiator over the heat, and it was just a preference thing. But now I'm back on the whole thing with the heat. I'm using the heat way more than the little radiator. I am using the little radiator for the instrument, basically for the instrumental music group. I use that on there. The Fairchild, I use it the same thing. I don't do any compression with the Fairchild. It's just the color. I just use it for that. And then during this time, I was using this Better Maker EQ because it's basically a pull tech, just tweak tweaked a little bit better, and I was using it during that time because I liked how it sounded. Don't use it anymore though. I found something that is a little that gives me with this gives me but a little bit more. And then Ozone 9, Ozone 9. And I think this one, oh yeah, so this right here, this is the God particle before the God particle. So this is that Jason Joshua preset. And what replaced what? The Better Maker? The Better Maker got replaced by, what did it get replaced by? And I might have to go through one of those sessions. I'm gonna open up another session so I can go through my actual mix bus. And then the master desk, I was using this a lot. I don't use it anymore. Got replaced as well. But yeah, so that's really it for Muse. So we went over basically the chords, you know. And we'll go through that one more time. So we got chords. And then we have drums in 808. We'll do, let's do this section because 808 starts on the one on this one. And there we go with the kick. Love you right, love you right. And that's it for Muse. So pretty simple song. Love how it came out. Love how simple it is, but also all the small complexity that it have. So I'll let me jump into a new mix session that I have now. Let me see. Should I jump into one of Alan's songs? Let me see. I don't have Daydream. Well, I have it in my Dropbox, but it'll take a little while for me to download that. Let me see. I'll open one of these. I'll open this one up. I won't play it because it's not out yet, and we're still working on it. But let me see here. Not the Berhana joint, but the Mindy. So let's see. For the Mindy one that we have out, Greenhouse is out. Okay, so let's play that one. And that one has the updated mix bus. And I'll show you what update. There we go. All right, and I'll show you real quick what updated the Better Make Your EQ and all that other stuff. So let's see. And this one have way more, I mean, this one is like the new template, right? And this template also is like being tweaked because I'm still adding and taking away some things, just kind of testing it out. But for the most part, this is my new template. This is like the new stuff that I'm using, stuff that I added, that I grabbed from like the Jason Joshua template, and then and some of the effects from like Josh Goodwin and Dave Pensato and all that other stuff. And I'm just tweaking them and just kind of making them my own type of thing, right? This one's gonna take a little while because it's just a lot of tracks. And again, it's just me trying different things, right? Just adding and taking, and you know, and that's one of those things that I do, every so often. Maybe every year I'll update my mixing templates and my recording template. I'll add, new plugins, new stuff that I like, or I'll take away stuff that I don't really like anymore, or is not, or it's stuff that is sounding older, right? So this is my new template. It's still being edited and it's still being configured and all that other stuff. So mix bus. So the mix bus, I have the inflator, I have the mag EQ, and the mag EQ is the one that that replaced Better Maker EQ. What UAD interface are you using? I see the UAD. So the UAD interface that I'm using is the X4. I have an X8, but that one I'm about to sell it because I bought a RME. Let me see, an RME ADI2 Pro, and that basically is going to replace my converter because it's way better conversion, way better headphones, headphone amp. I'm sorry. Conversion is way better. It's literally like night and day compared to an Apollo. Um, and like right now, I'm in a process of basically upgrading my my gear and my template. I'm basically upgrading a whole bunch of things, right? That's where I'm in the process of right now. Just just basically seeing what I can take away that is just not working for me anymore, adding what's gonna adding new things that are gonna make things faster, easier, and sound better. And basically, that's the reason why I got the RME converter, right? Because that conversion, I can hear things a lot better, way clear. I don't have to second guess. And it's not that I had to second guess with the Apollos, right? Um, but most of the mixes that I'm doing now are headphones. I mean, I'm using PMC sixes to monitor and ref tones, but which helps. But I have to go to the studio to to be able to do that. So most of the time I'm at home mixing. Then I'll go to the studio, do the final little tweaks or whatnot. So that's the reason why I bought that RME, right? So I can actually hear things better, and essentially, I'm able to mix better and faster. So, anyways, mix bus. I have the Oxford inflator. I have the Mag EQ, and the Mag EQ is one of the plugins right now that is optional. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't, depending on the record. God Particle is definitely on there 100%, and I tend to leave it basically at default. I'll boost and very rare, and then I have a standard clip at the end. And the standard clip, I try not to print the mix, with it because I still have to send it off to mastering. But sometimes I do. I'll just bring the level down and then send that off to mastering. So that's basically it for for my mix bus. And then the vocal processing is definitely a little bit different now, though. So Spectra, El Rey, but right now I'm in transition between this one and the Capital compressor from UAD. Pro Q3, that one is still there. MC404, that one is still there. Um, Another Pro Q3, this one is a little bit more surgical. Fresh Air, that one I'm still kind of iffy about. I'm not too sure if I'm gonna keep it, but I think I'm gonna replace it. I'm not even think I know that I'm gonna replace it with that Airy Q from. It's still from Slate Digital. I forget the guy name who made the EQ. Another MC04. We got CLA vocals. C6. And the C6, I'm using it as a de-esser. Let's see here. Yep, there's a de-esser. And then we have Sooth 2, for the another de-esser, right? And this is remember I was telling you that I was adding the Jason Joshua template into incorporating it into my workflow, and I'm still I'm not using it as much as as I thought I was gonna use it, but I'm definitely using a lot of it. The NLS bus, I was using this already prior to this, to the update on the template. I was just using it a little bit lighter, right? I wasn't using a whole bunch of them. Sometimes I would just use like maybe 3 or 4 on the insert. Um, and this is just, this is for the groups, right? That's for the drums. And then, but I do have these transformers that I use a lot for drums. I have a transformer 1 and 2. Um, I'm using this MV2 a lot, which is basically, and I'm using it in parallel just to make things louder. So what is the UAD plugin that might replace the array? So sound wise, the Capital One sounds a little bit better than the Rey to me. It sounds, it gives me that same type of vibe that I get from El Rey, but I get a little bit more saturation if I need it. And I like the way it just it compresses. It does everything as smooth as El Rey, but it could be a little bit more aggressive than it. So that's the reason why I'm going with that one. Another plugin that I'm using a lot, and I'm using this on synths. I'm using this on guitars, but I'm not using it because of the whole amp simulation. I'm using it because of the spread. The imager on this plugin is really good. Let me see. Digital V3. I have that on my mix bus as well. I didn't use it on this one, but Digital V3 is definitely my mix bus. That one lives there. And when it's on my mix bus, the monitor maker, I keep it at 60, and the stereo width it lives between anywhere between 111 to 118. Another thing too, there's low air. So subsynth, pro sub, and combine those two together with a compressor. The low end is super crazy. You'll definitely need to tame it down a lot for sure, but you add this, the low end is gonna be it. I mean, you have to try it. You have to try it because, believe me, it'll definitely it'll blow your speakers out too if you if you're not careful with it. But for this one, for Greenhouse, because it's already out. Let's see. Let's go through it, right?
Left hand stuck up in your right hand, going nowhere, driving, singing to this mic stand, thinking about that greenhouse.
So this one right here, I'm gonna show you on the bass. I have the amp pick without it, with it. I love the low end that this amp simulation gives. I have the Kelvin. This Kelvin is just saturation, and then it has 2 stages of saturation, right? And then you can pick the type of saturation that you want per stage. You have the 3-band EQ that you can shape the saturation. You have the spread, the defuzz, mix knob, and the clip. This Kelvin is definitely one of those plugins that live in my template now. It does a lot of cool things. The whole thing with the saturation and because I love saturation. That's one of those things that is gonna allow you to get your mixes to sound bigger without clipping your mix buzz. But I also love being able to control the saturation, because if you don't control your saturation, it gets out of hand quick. You know what I'm saying? So that's one. Then bass lane is another thing that I've been trying out on my template right now, because it's been I'm still trying to figure it out how to work it out and everything. Did you use heat bypassing the final mix of the session? Yeah, so I bypassed it. I had it on for most of the not for most of it, but at the beginning of the mix, and it just really wasn't working just yet. But that's because, remember, I'm still tweaking this template. I do have another mix where where I have the heat plugin turned on, and I'm also and on that version for that mix, I'm almost 100% there. As far as like being comfortable with my mix template, how it is. You know what I'm saying? Because this one right here is like I was still trying out, seeing what's gonna work, what's not going to work, and all that other stuff. But yeah, for this session, I definitely I turned on the heat, didn't really work out, and then I just turned it off. So for bass, we got the bass. then it's going into drum and bass, going to the transformer, right, and all this other stuff. So that low air, remember, let me exaggerate there real quick. So the sub synth is basically a subharmonic synthesizer. Same thing with the pro sub. That's a subharmonic synthesizer. You choose what frequency you want to basically add to it. And then in both of these plugins, not only you can choose what frequencies you want to add, right? You want to what frequencies you're going to bring in. But you can also process those frequencies. So you can, like the filter part on the sub synth, tight punch. I love that little feature. I love the low end. So that just kind of gets everything a little bit tighter on the low end and brings it out. This subharmonic plugin, the Pro Sub, is by Avid as well. So you have these two bands, I'm sorry, that you can choose from, but also you have all these four presets of frequencies that you could choose from, which ones you want to add and which ones you want, and then you have the direct sub, and you can drive the subharmonic frequencies, and you can blend it with the mix. So I use both of them, and then I have a compressor to control those subharmonic frequencies, because again, without it, it gets to be a lot. So right there, it's just being controlled. And I'm just bringing a little bit in because I don't really need much for this record.
My left hand stuck up in your right hand, going nowhere, driving, singing to this mic stand, thinking about that greenhouse you said that we'd buy when we get all these millions that we get from riding. I want my left hand stuck up in your right hand, going nowhere, driving, singing to this mic stand, thinking about that greenhouse you said that we'd buy when we get all these millions that we get from riding. My left hand stuck up in your right hand, going nowhere, driving, singing to this mic stand, thinking about that greenhouse you said that we'd buy when we get all these millions.
You're just comparing like the reference mix to the actual mix.
I
didn't want to go away. I didn't want to go away too much from the reference. I just wanted to clean things up and just bring things out a little bit more. That's all it is. Sometimes I'm able, depends on the song and also depends on the artist. Sometimes I'm able to do a lot more. But most of the time, you got to stay close to the reference, especially if the artist is already in love with that reference, But the reference mix, the rough mix was a decent mix, so it wasn't that hard it wasn't that hard of a decision to stay in that within that realm. You feel me? So that was it. But yeah, so that's basically it. So we went through Muse, we went through a few other things as far as mixing. I'm start chopping these up soon, probably this weekend or the next week, and just start posting them up and and seeing what information is useful and whatnot. And then for everyone that had issues with with the stream, I do apologize for that. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if it was Glitch dropping the ball or if it was my internet. I'm not sure, but what I am sure of is that I recorded this whole thing, and that I'm gonna upload a version that's unedited to YouTube, so you can just watch it, the same way as you was watching the stream. But then I'm clip a whole bunch of parts from the stream and just post on my IG, so that way you can kind of just catch those little glimpses of whatever gems there were out there. You know what I'm saying? And then for whoever has any suggestions, just hit me up on IG too, bro. Just let me know like which part of the stream you want me to clip, because sometimes whatever I think is helpful might or at least some of the stuff that I feel like is not helpful, I might not clip it and just leave it as is, but it's stuff that it might be helpful to you. So definitely hit me up on IG. Let me know like, yo, this part of the stream helped me out a lot. Maybe clip it, and and that way everybody else can see it and they don't have to go through a whole hour of a stream just to catch one, little 30-second clip or 20-second clip or whatnot. Um, and let me see, Skilly, is Ohana included in the Avid plugin bundle? I think it is included in the bundle, um, but I think it's in the Ultimate Pro Tools Ultimate version. I think I'm not sure. I think you have to go on the website for that. But yeah, man, everybody that tuned in and everybody that stayed, I really appreciate y'all. Even and the new people that subscribe to, I really appreciate y'all. I'm gonna try to do these more often, man. For real, for real. It's just a little bit difficult for me to do it as often as I want, just because I'm always busy. I'm always busy mixing. I'm always busy working on these splice sample packs, and then on top of that, um, I'm also building a lot of Dolby Atmos rooms throughout LA and everything with the company RSPE, and you know, and just doing tech work for RSPE, right? So anybody who needs any help with whatever tech or whatnot, all that stuff, just hit me up on there too. And then also, I'm about to be a dad in about 2 weeks, so that definitely is going to keep me busy. But I think that also might allow me to stream a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll definitely be home a lot more. But yeah, again, man, I really appreciate every single one of y'all that stayed, every single one of y'all that tuned in, everyone. I appreciate it, all of you guys, man. Because for real, this is why I like doing these streams, because I like showing you guys, you know, how is it that I work, maybe in hopes that this can help you out and make you a better producer, make you a better engineer. So it really does mean a lot to me that you guys are here, tuned in, and that you guys are following up with me on IG and everything. I do appreciate it. It means a lot. So thank you everyone that tuned in. Thank you everyone for the continuous support, for all the question and for everything, man. If you have any more questions even after the stream, hit me up on IG. I always try my best to respond back. You know what I'm saying? And also, too, those questions do help me out for the next stream, because that'll get me prepared for it, and I know what to show. What to show on the next streams and whatnot. So this one was a little bit shorter than the rest of them, but hopefully for the next stream it'll be a little bit longer. Right? We'll work on more mixes and maybe on production and a few other tricks and stuff that I still haven't shown to the world that I want to. So again, appreciate y'all, man, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.
I want my left hand stuck up in your right hand, going nowhere, driving, singing to this mic stand, thinking about that greenhouse you said that we'd buy when we get all these millions that we get from riding. I want my left hand stuck up in your right hand, going nowhere, driving, singing to this mic stand, thinking about that greenhouse you said that we'd buy when we get all these millions that we get from riding. Ain't nobody read me like you read me before. It's never been this easy before. I'm used to people leaving before I get the feeling, I'm sure, but